Hey guys, welcome to episode number 36 of the Andy Campbell Show, live only on Ace Podcast Nation. I am your host, Sai, here at Ace Podcast Nation. We have weekly series on football, boxing, MMA, as well as our adult-only podcast, The Limp and the Boot, or The Boot and the Limp, with stand-up comic Ballistic Barry Phillips, which takes a light-hearted and X-rated look at the world. This Friday, in fact, that will be live for the first time ever, Friday, 7 p.m. On YouTube, Ace Podcast Nation, Facebook, Periscope as well, just like this show. And I will say, if you do join us for that, which I hope you do, great. But it's not for people who don't like swearing, adult content, all that sort of stuff. Not for under 18s, shall we say. But it is very funny and it's a good laugh. So get involved. We've also got regular shows on wrestling, films, TV, mental health, and more, including our two own exclusive and unique series, My Story and Unscripted and Uncensored. My Story is where we take our guests through their life and career bit by bit, and they share memories and anecdotes along the way. We've had so far former England cricketer Chris Lewis, former Wales international Rhys Weston, and just yesterday we dropped a new episode with former WBO world champion Robbie Regan. Unscripted and Uncensored is exactly what it says on the tin, other than all the questions and all the talking points are set by you, the people. I don't do any research, any questions. They're all set by the people. We've had all sorts of people on there, from Kev McNaughton, Rodri Giggs, Welsh boxer Cody Davis, UFC stars Jack Shaw, Brett Johns, Modestas Spukakash, which I'm sure that's not how you pronounce his name, but still, he'll forgive me. You can find all these series and shows at video format, youtube.com/Ace Podcast Nation. And the audio is always available at Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and about 2 million other podcasting apps. We are back. We are live. And you will see that Kevin McNaughton has turned ginger and lost his beard. The goal collector is back. With that said, let me give him a proper introduction. My co-host, my friend, former Premier League and Championship player, Cardiff City legend, Middlesbrough hometown boy, fox in the box, speed demon, Davy Jones' favourite son, and still the king of the Millennium Stadium, the goal collector, Mr. Andy Campbell. Welcome, my friend. How are you?
I am very well, mate. I've missed you. It's been a long couple of weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say, you haven't had an introduction like that for a couple of weeks, have you?
No, I've missed that introduction. No, just had the plain old getting shouted at and getting under people's feet at home.
Yeah. So yeah, Super Kev has been stepping in. He's stepped in for you the last couple of weeks. He's done it a great service, and he's coming back next week. For people who do miss him, he's coming back next week to join me and you. And you've been away on top secret assignment.
Yeah.
So, why didn't you tell the people where you've been?
Bit of business. What we on? So we on the 12th. So on the 1st, it's not a joke, by the way. So on the 1st of April, where are we? This little cherub came into the world. Elsie, baby Elsie. So she was born on the 1st. She was born on the 1st of April. So she's our little guest appearance for. Where are we? Guest appearance for her first couple of minutes before she goes back with her mum, and hopefully sleeps for the next 12 hours, but won't. But no, it's everyone's well. She's well. She's tiny. She was only born at £4, £13, sorry, and she's just gone to £5 now. So she's absolutely minute, but she's lovely, adorable. Bless her.
So, congratulations, obviously.
Thank you.
But also, my wife will tell you, and my kids, I cannot keep a secret for shit. I'm terrible. I cannot keep a secret. I just, it's impossible for me, because what I try to do is I try to be too clever, and I try to give like little hints, which I think, they won't get that. And then he just ended up giving it away. Like, so I literally haven't said anything. I've mentioned it, just said he's away on assignment. That's it. I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, it's been a busy couple of weeks.
So let's see
Trying to get into a routine has been probably the hardest thing for me. But yeah, I'm back. So just read some of your messages.
Already got some.
Thank you for some of your messages. I'm reading some of the messages now on there. Some cheeky ones as well. So I'll forgive a few of my friends who were writing some horrible comments on there now.
Johnny Wish says, "Don't drop the baby."
No, nearly.
Kelly says, "Congratulations." Christine says, "Congratulations." Martin says, "Congratulations." Steve Todd says, "More hair than you, Andy."
Pot kettle black. That's all I'll say.
Jamie says, "Congratulations, top shagger."
Trying to catch up the
Kev. Did I miss any? I know. Did I miss anyone else? No, I think that's everyone. I think if I left anyone out, Christian said, "Bonjour." Indeed. Barry Phillips, ready for Friday's live show. The man himself. And he says, "Congratulations." And so Barry is the podcast I was just talking about.
Looking forward to Friday. Yeah, Friday will keep me busy. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it's good. And Ian says, "Matching t-shirts." Leslie, welcome. And Steve Todd said, "We're not friends." He's talking to you. Me and Steve are top friends. But so for what I didn't want to do today was, I feel like for the last 6 weeks, every time we've opened a show, I've gone on like a big long rant about the Premier League and the EFL and the Scottish Premier League as it goes.
Yeah.
Being basically money grabbing so-and-sos who just want to prolong the football season at any cost.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to do that. But it's difficult. Alan Jones in the chat says, "Right. Welcome, my friend."
Hard to get away
not
from.
To rant about it.
It's hard to get away from a side at the minute with what's going on. You know what I mean? Our local paper this morning is got EFL statements coming out of his backside saying that that it's going to be back on, and they're going to get the season done in 56 days, and including the playoffs. The problem I've got, Si, you know what I mean? I'm the same as you. I'm sick of talking about it, and I'm sick of ranting about it, because I believe that somebody should have made this decision and took it out of everybody's hands. For me now, it's gone on too. For me, I totally agree. For me now, it's gone on too long. We've got a couple of issues. We've got the fitness issue where the boys are going to have to do a pre-season again, which is going to be so strange. It's going to be scary, and then they're going to have a season, not really finishing the season before going into another season. So there's your first issue, and then for me the biggest one, which I can't see a resolution, is contracts. So your contract finished on the 31st of June, and you sign for another team on July the 1st. The season's going to overlap those things. So if you change the contracts and the FA change all the contracts, which is fine, okay, that's fine. The issue I've got is, will the club see out a new contract if a player gets a serious injury? So will they still keep a 4-year contract if the player's injured for a full year if you've just signed for a new team? My guess is no. You know what I mean? And these players, this could be their insurance, their retirement money, their final swan song at a really good contract. You know what I mean? One final contract. You know what I mean? And I can't see a way around that. I honestly can't.
So what about this then, right? Like we're past, well, we're coming up to mid-April.
Mm-hmm.
If some players' contracts will run out in June, July, and they'll be out of contract.
Yeah.
So if the season's still being played, clubs will want to extend those contracts, even if it's just a short-term contract.
Yeah.
So they might give them like a 3-month contract just to finish the season with the team they've played all season with.
Yeah.
Fair enough. In itself, that seems fair enough. But if those players get injured, they're not going to, one, if they get a serious injury, they can't go to another club and their contract finishes. So they lose all leverage, everything, which is the point of running your contract down. But also, the clubs are not going to pay for their, some clubs might pay for their medical care, etc. Not all. They won't be obliged to, because they'll have, their contracts will be over. And what happens if players don't want to sign an extra 3-month contract for that exact reason? So halfway through the 56 days, their contracts run out and clubs lose 4 players.
Well,
what do they do?
All the lads who've already signed pre-contract agreements. Let's say Middlesbrough player, for example, has signed for Leeds United. Let's just use that as an example. And if that's happened, then does this player play for Leeds United from July the 1st, because his contract starts on July the 1st, or does he finish the season? It's for me. We're opening a huge can of worms, and I can't see around it, because these players have been quite loyal to clubs, and will the clubs be loyal to the players? And my guess is no. They're just using them for what they can get, and for me, it's, I don't know. It's selfish for me, and the whole thing's selfish. Is the whole thing to look after those sides who are trying to get promoted, trying to get promotion? Because for me, if English football is finishing,
I don't think that.
Then all the steps for me have got to finish, and that's so they've stopped non-league football last week. So why not finish the whole season and them in 56 days? Because you've got more chance to finish non-league football in 56 days than you have professional football.
Yep. The one thing I would say, I believe that the reason they want to finish the season so desperately has absolutely nothing to do with, for instance, let's say West Brom getting promoted to the Premier League, or Leeds getting promoted to the Premier League. Mm-hmm. What they care about is they care about their TV money. They've got to complete a certain amount of games. They've probably got to complete the whole season to get the full chunk of it. And I'm not going to go on another Liverpool rant, but my point, or my point of view, because it is only my point of view, but I do believe that if Man City were top of the league, the season would have already finished. But because it's Liverpool, and because they're so far ahead, and because they haven't won the league for 2.5 billion years, they're doing everything they can, rightly or wrongly, in my opinion, wrongly, to make sure they win the league. Now, that straight away is in itself is a problem, that you're treating teams differently on who they are rather than the situation. It should be based completely on the situation, mate, and it doesn't feel like it is.
So everyone on here knows my stance, and my stance never really changed. I wanted the football season to finish. I really did. I wanted it to finish, but it's gone on so long now. You know what I mean? That for me, time's just run out. It's just, you know what I mean? It's run out, and we're talking about injuries now. But then we're asking players to play so many games in a short space of time. So then they're more likely to get injured. You know what I mean? So it just doesn't seem feasible enough for me, because players have not gone back training yet. We're still in lockdown. You know what I mean? So and then on top of it, it's going to be all played behind closed doors anyway. So supporters are getting shafted anyway. So it's not about the supporters. It's what's it about? I've said all along, football's not a game without supporters. It's not. It's nothing. And you know what I mean? I struggled at times during when I played about when I'd have to play reserve games, because you're playing behind closed doors basically. There's nobody there, and you're self-motivating yourself to get through a 90-minute game of football, and it's so difficult and so hard. It's just scary.
So Jamie, who does our films and TV show with us as well, little plug for that, the podcast with no name. He says, can FIFA just not allow players to be registered with them, etc.? Maybe Andy could tell us the ins and outs for transfer. I'm assuming he means in terms of the contracts finishing and ending, and any clashes with that.
They could own every single player if they wanted to who was out of contract, and see. But then there's a minefield, because if teams change the goalposts with a contract and decide against it, and they don't want to sign the person when it comes to, you know what I mean, if someone gets a really bad injury, or let's say someone gets sent off in July, you get sent off in July for a 3-game ban, you're banned. It's just we're opening opening a can of worms again. You know what I mean? For me, a transfer is dead easy. So for me, when your contract runs out, and that's happened to me a couple of times, so there's players from January the 1st who've known they're going to leave the club and have signed a pre-contract agreement with another club, and their contract begins on July the 1st. So on July the 1st, there'll be probably about 500 footballers in the country or in the world who will come to England or be in England on July the 1st, starting their new contract. And that would normally be pre-season, but now it's not going to be pre-season. It's going to be towards the end of the season. So what happens to those players? Do they stay at the previous club? Do they join the club and not allowed to play? Are they going to refuse to play for the club who they're currently playing for? But it's just, do you know what I mean? I've tried to give an example and talking to people on how I would do it, because if I was at a football club now and I'd been there for 4 years and I'd signed a pre-contract agreement at another club on July the 1st, would I want to jeopardise that move for another 2, 3, 4 years and a big signing on fee and big wages because they haven't had to pay a transfer fee for me for 9 games left of the season? Would I want to do that? And I think you've got to be honest with yourself and say no, because you're risking 9 games for 4 years worth of money and security for yourself, for your family. And it's a big ask, regardless how much you love a football club and say you've played there for so many years, because it's players' futures, it's players' livelihoods, it's players' health, fitness, financial. There's too many things to put in a pot to just ignore these factors. And you know what I mean? If they said we're going to finish the season in 25 days and it finishes on June the 31st, I'm all for it. But it's not. Yeah. It's impossible. They can't do that. It's just too many days.
So I said all along that if they can finish the season and the players still get a decent break, not maybe even if it's only like 2-3 week break, and then start next season on time, then fantastic.
Yeah.
But there's got to be a certain amount. There's got to be certain conditions to that situation. All the players have got to agree to it. All the players have got to be safe in terms of and staff getting to and from games and being at the games and all this and that and the other. If there's one player in any of those leagues who says, I'm not comfortable and I don't want to risk my health, then in my opinion, that's it. Because you have to have a fair situation. Yeah. So whether it's one player or 20 players, if any of those players are not comfortable because they don't feel safe, just like you or me or anyone else, and people watching, if they didn't feel safe, and I exclude NHS workers from this particular example, but anyone, like if you didn't feel safe because you were going to work and you felt like your employer was putting you at risk by being reckless, etc., then you wouldn't do it because you'd want to protect your family and blah 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 blah, just like these footballers do.
So I think people are missing our point though. Basically, we want the football season finished. You know what I mean? That is that we want it finished, but we want it finished. For me, a reasonable time, a safe environment for everybody. I want supporters there, because let's say Liverpool win the league. They're going to win the league. Yeah, they're going to win the league. So Liverpool are going to win the league at Anfield in front of no fans. How bad, as a player, do you want that? If there's any players out here, full time, part time, you tell me, would you want to win a title in front of no fans? And how would you feel about it? It's just, you know what I mean? You want to do it correctly. You want to do it in front of 50, 60,000 fans celebrating with everybody. It's going to be the biggest anti-climax ever. You know what I mean? We're not putting the damper on things. We're not anti-football, anti-Premier League, anti-EFL. You know what I mean? For me, I want the season done, but I want it done fairly. I want it done fairly for everybody, safe, fairly, but I just think basically we're massively running out of time. And you said there, Si, about players having a week or two off after. It's guaranteed that players won't get that, because now clubs will see this now as a break. Yes, they haven't been on holiday. Yeah. Yes, they haven't been away. But you finish the season, let's say on July the 15th, say, and they're back training on August the 1st. You know what I mean? It's going to be impossible to get away. B, some clubs will have them in training anyway, because the lads who haven't played will want to get up to fitness anyway before they go back to be ahead of themselves. Some lads will want to tick over. There'll be games.
But you know, this is a break.
Yeah.
So sorry to interrupt you, Mitch. So this is
it's
technically that we're having a break. Yeah, we're having 4, 5, 6, 7. Probably end up being a year's break. However, it's not a mental break for these top level players because they've been told by their managers. I know for a fact, because I spoke to one of them last week, that they've been told to be ready to return to training tomorrow if necessary.
Yeah.
So they've all got personal training plans. They all have to go about their business. They're not allowed to go drink, not go drink. If they're not supposed to be drinking, they're not supposed to be doing the things that they would do in that summer break. Now, it's not just about a physical break; it's about a mental break as well.
Yeah.
I just want to. I kept that comment on there because it's something I wanted to address because a lot of people have said it to me a lot. I've made no secret of the fact that I'm no Liverpool fan. However, as I've said numerous times, I came to terms with the fact that Liverpool were going to win the league about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Like at Christmas time, I was already over it. Do I want them to win the league? No. Will I find it a little bit funny? They finally got to a position where, they could win it, and then they end up like something ridiculous happens, like a global pandemic, and they can't. Yeah, like the dark side of my sense of humor will find it funny, but only for a little while, because ultimately I'm more concerned with the thousands, millions of people on the planet who've already died from this virus. And football doesn't really matter to me about, I don't really care if Liverpool win the league. I'd rather we stop people dying. And that's ultimately when we discuss it all, and that's what it all comes down to. To me, FIFA should have stepped in probably 2 weeks ago and said, right, there over 1 million people have died globally from this virus. Football doesn't matter. We're going to bin it, and hopefully we're going to start in September. But whenever we do start, we will give teams a proper preseason to prepare. And we're going to open the transfer window from now to make sure teams have got enough time to sort their, their squads and everything out.
I look at with I know we can't fly, and it's a similar thing, but Champions League, Europa League gets cancelled. So what's the difference? There's no difference in those being cancelled than there is all the leagues being open, because as long as all the countries aren't in lockdown and they're all able to, because if people aren't in lockdown anymore, then I'm guessing people are going to travel. So you're going to go on holiday. People are going to go away and they're going to travel to different countries. They're going to come home from where they are. And if people are doing that, then people can travel. If that's behind closed doors football, then all you're asking is for 30 people to travel on a plane like you would on a holiday anyway. So they could still finish the Europa League and the Champions League, because you look at how fair is it on Man City? Man City had a chance to win the Champions League this year. They're not in Europe allegedly for the next couple of seasons due to what happened. So that doesn't make sense. But it's all right for one team to still be in an opportunity to win something, but it's not all right for another. It doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't sit right with me. And I want to be fair across the board, and it just doesn't seem fair. You know what I mean? I want Leeds to get promoted. They deserve to. I want West Brom to get promoted because I think they deserve to. I want Cardiff City to get in the playoffs. I want them to give the opportunity to get in the playoffs. If the season finished now, they can't. So I want them to have a chance to get in the playoffs. I want Middlesbrough to stay up. If the league got cancelled, they'd stay up. But I don't want that. I want them to show that they can stay up because they deserve to stay up, because they're good enough to stay up. And I want them to show the football world that they're good enough to stay up, instead of people slagging the manager off and people saying the players aren't good enough and the youngsters aren't good enough. I want them to do it the right way. But the only way we can do that is by doing it in the correct manner, with the season finishing the time that it should finish. But I just think we've run out of time, and that's just my own opinion. And that's not me being anti anybody. I've just given loads of positives on clubs who I think deserve to do stuff. Liverpool deserve to win the league, and they will win the league, but they can only win it if they earn it and they get enough points and they finish the whole season. That's the only way it can happen.
Yeah, spot on, mate. just to say to everyone who's commenting, I really appreciate all your comments and everything.
Comments are quality.
I'm kind of struggling to keep up with them all from the 3 platforms. So if I do miss you out, I apologize. I'll try and get to them all. I just wanted to say, so Kelly put a comment in. I wanted to read that. She works for a pharmacy, so she's quite clued into what's going on and everything. Yeah. Obviously still working. She's a key worker. She said, unfortunately, there's no way they can finish the season. Deaths are increasing day by day, where we've even had more deaths in a single day than Spain and Italy. I truly think that the right thing to do is call the season null and void. It's the humane thing to do. And I think that's what it comes down to, is football does not matter in the current climate. Now, do I feel sorry for Liverpool fans? Yes. Do I feel sorry for Leeds fans? Yes. Do I feel sorry for Cardiff City fans like myself? Absolutely. Do I feel sorry for Aston Villa, who are going to stay up when they may have gone down? Do I feel sorry for Sheffield United, who could have got a Champions League spot? Absolutely. But ultimately, it does not matter. It's a sport. Yes,
it's secondary, isn't it? You know what I mean? This is something that we love. You know what I mean? But when I say love, we love our families and our friends more. We love the interaction with people. You know what I mean? There's something about going to a football game and interacting with people than sat at home watching it on TV. Because if football grounds are shut, I'm guessing pubs are going to be shut. So you're going to be watching your team at home in your own house on your own. It's just going to be not the same as. It's just going to be the most surreal thing. It's going to be probably worse than the position we're in at the minute. It's going to be probably worse than lockdown because you're going to be climbing the walls. You know what I mean? And there's going to be no atmosphere. You're going to be frustrated. It's going to be so difficult for everybody, including the players. By the way, and that's not. You know what I mean? I've said it all along.
Yeah, Spot. I need to give a little shout out as well to Tom Lockwood. He's got a Facebook page, Trainers Reborn, which is trainer restoration service. He's a viewer of the show and a listener, and I just wanted to give his check out his Facebook page, Trainers Reborn. Does trainers restoration. So thanks for watching, Tom, and I appreciate your support as usual to everyone. So Mark Worrell there says, as a Villa fan, I'm happy not to finish the season. We then get to stay up. Yeah, and there is a lot of teams who will benefit from the season being null and void. Manchester United fans, Manchester City fans, Everton fans will be thrilled that Liverpool don't win the league, but Man United are going, trying to get back in the Champions League. So it doesn't really suit them to have another season outside the Champions League. They'll lose a lot of money. You've got Cardiff could still get promoted. There's all sorts of connotations and ramifications, but ultimately it doesn't matter. Gaz says, Simon hates Scousers. No, he doesn't. Simon is our friend. He hates Scousers. Also, I wanted to, just before we kind of go off this subject, I wanted to give a shout out to all the NHS workers, the key workers, the people who are still getting up and going to work, putting themselves at risk, putting their families at risk, staying away from their families, isolating from their families. I know people personally who are not seeing, their loved ones because their loved ones are ill, and they're not seeing them whatsoever because they're petrified of, infecting them and stuff. So a shout out to all the NHS workers, all the pharmacy workers, the police, everyone who's still having to go to work. I completely, we commend you, and we love you all, because without you, we really would be up the creek.
Yeah, totally agree.
Danny Reese says, football without fans is rubbish, shall we say?
Bang on. I think, as I said, we've never... I mean, we've all been we all complain about when supporters don't turn up in the draws, when attendances are down. So it's just it's not something that I want to even think about or condone, because football without supporters for me is just not the game that I fell in love with. It was, what I mean, I always loved entertaining people and people creating the atmosphere which I thrived on, and even as a supporter, you know what I mean. When you walk into a stadium and there's a good atmosphere, it's just you enjoy the game. The game just flows, and there's something about it. And you know what I mean. When I've watched some of the Champions League games or Europa League games behind closed doors, when there's been racism or trouble, and it's just the most horrific things in the world. There's no atmosphere. There's nothing there, and me personally, I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, there was someone, I've lost it now, but I've lost the comment. He basically said there was a Leeds fan on Talk Sport earlier this week who said he got loads of grief because he said he didn't want to get promoted.
That was Martin
with
Mulcaster.
No fan, if the fans couldn't be in the stadium.
Yeah, Mully said there. He said
I thought
listening
I've
to
lost
a Leeds fan on Talk Sport last week getting grief because he didn't want to see Leeds get promoted with no fans in the ground, and that's the thing. I mean, Leeds fans have been similar to Liverpool fans. They've been starved for so many years. They've got an opportunity to see their team be so successful that they want to see. You know, I mean, the next time the Leeds fans could be in the ground is to watch their team get relegated. Well, that's not what they want. They don't want it. They want to remember being in the ground the day that Leeds got promoted. You know, I mean, at the minute, the last thing they remember at the end of the season is last season's playoff shambles against Derby County, and that's not what they want to remember. They want to remember this season getting promoted at Ellen Road against whoever that may be, or lifting the trophy in front of their fans. That's what they want to do, and they have every right to do that.
Yeah, spot on, mate. So me and Leslie have been going back and forth over the last couple of weeks regarding this issue. So I just wanted to say, he says, what are you guys going to say when the season is played behind closed doors? One, I will say it's a mistake for the health and safety of the players and staff. Two, I think it's a money grabbing thing, which I've said all the way along. And three, I will say congratulations to the teams getting promoted, winning the league, etc., etc. It's never been about, for me, about trying to stop X, Y, and Z from achieving their opportunities. It's about what's the best for the country, for the people, for the safety of these players, and that's all I really care about. Okay, and Leslie just said, "No, you'll say that I was right all along," but I never said you were wrong.
It's not our decision, is it? This isn't our decision. If the league decides to play the league like it sounds like they're going to, and it's going to be played behind closed doors, then it's out of everyone's hands. My argument is it's going to be, for me, it's going to be boring as anything, and it's not something that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. Alan Jones says, how can you award a trophy to a team with a quarter of a season left to play? If it wasn't Liverpool and if Man City were top, then what would there be a fuss? And I said that a few minutes ago, didn't I? That I feel like if Man City were top now and they were the ones 20 points ahead or whatever it is, that they probably would avoid the season. I do feel like they're bending over backwards a bit for Liverpool, but it is what it is. Okay, so okie dokie. See, just going to quickly flick through the comments. Guys, if you can, whatever platform you're watching, whether it's Periscope, Facebook, YouTube, if you can give like a thumbs up or a like, and you can share the video, encourage people to join, spread the word. Also, you can send questions in for us to ask. So Alan Jones asked, or Di Llywelyn, who asked Super Kev the question about the fire extinguisher last week. For those who missed it, you could check out the clip on our social media, and you could see the look of worry that has come across Andy's face already, because he knows that Di is the Aussie and he knows things.
I'm getting text messages as we speak from a certain Alan Jones who's sat with Di as we speak.
Yeah, same as me. So I missed it in the live chat, and he's been texting me, telling me to ask her. But so basically, last week, Di asked a question in the live chat up to Kev about an incident on a pre-season tour which involved a fire extinguisher and Tom Heaton, and Kev just kind of went white. And then he had a big swig of his beer. And to be fair, he shared the story. He was funny, real funny. What I found funniest about it was when he admitted, it was him. At the time, he said it wasn't him, and Tom Heaton got the blame, which I thought was hysterical. But yeah, the clip is on social media for those to see. Full show is obviously there as well. Let's have a look. What's the question? Did Andy or his brother play for Nunthorpe Athletic? Is one of the questions.
I went to Nunthorpe School. My brother played for Nunthorpe Athletic. I played for Martin Juniors, but I went to Nunthorpe School. It's like this is your life.
Another question, but I can't find it.
Like this is your
I
life.
know, there was another question. I'll try and dig out the other question now.
Is it the one about not having a shirt for my debut?
Yeah, something about your shirt on your debut. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, so when...
But I don't know what the question was.
When we played Liverpool away, so I'd made my debut on Good Friday the week before against Sheffield Wednesday in the Premier League. And then we went to Anfield to play Liverpool. And obviously, it was the biggest kept secret in the world because I went there thinking that I was doing all the jobs with the kit man and packing the boots and doing the dinners on the way there and on the way back. And even the manager hadn't told the kit man that I was planning on being started. So what happened? That Brian Robson took his shirt out to the fans outside of Anfield and swapped it for a blank shirt for the same away kit that we were going to wear at 3:00, and I got a blank shirt to wear, and it was just the most surreal thing in the world because and I've watched the video and the game over because it was Ian Rush's last game, so we gave Ian Rush a guard of honour, and obviously everyone's got the names on the back of the shirt apart from obviously this numbed here and me looking like an idiot with I look like I've just escaped on the pitch. I was just ran off the touchline. So it's I've still got the shirt now. I still haven't put my name on the back. So it's just a nice thing to keep and a story which lives with me forever, really.
Quality. Mr. Rhys Weston in the live chat, looking good
evening,
chap,
Rhys.
he says.
Good evening, mate.
Yes, indeed. You can check out my story, episode number 2 with Rhys Weston. It was a fantastic show. He's a very, very charismatic gentleman.
He's all right. He's all right.
He's all right. Like, yeah, he's another one who was not a fan of Dave Jones, but you'll have to watch the show to find out why.
He's very honest.
Indeed. But Super Kev, he really liked Dave Jones. So
it's the opinions, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Of course. I'm only playing.
Football's opinions. I don't like Kev either.
And also Kev was playing week in, week out as well. So it's like
Dave Jones didn't sell Kev. There you go.
Yeah, he never dropped him either, did he? But he was it was a good show. I enjoyed the show with Rhys. Johnny Wish there making a little. He saw the Rhys comment. He was straight in.
What was it?
Rhys Weston in the live chat for the best football podcast in the business. Well, that's very kind of you, young man. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate all the kind words which people have sent in over the last few weeks. So another interesting story of the week. Tottenham Hotspur became the latest team to reverse their furlough decision for non-playing staff.
Yeah.
So obviously, this goes on from the story. I think it was last week, maybe the week before, where Liverpool announced they were furloughing a load of staff and they were going to use the government grant of 80%. And there I was ready. I had all my notes. I was ready to unleash a massive rant. And literally 2 minutes before you went live, I had a text saying they've reversed the decision. So I never got to do that rant. Let's be honest. The only reason Tottenham, Liverpool, etc. reversed their decision, there's 2 reasons. One is they got slated by their own fans.
Yeah.
And 2, you had teams like Man City, Man United, Everton, etc., who are not only going out of their way to put West Ham, I think was one of them as well, who are their managers and players have taken a pay cut, with the agreement being that the money they make from the cut wages for the players and staff goes to the full-time staff who in the offices and the tickets and stuff. And I think it was Manchester United who made an arrangement to also pay the day, like the match day staff who only work there, like stewards and people like this and ticket sales, which I think, again, is fantastic. That's what football clubs of that size, they should be doing. Now, clubs in League 2, non-league, the clubs which are genuinely at risk They're the ones who should be using this grant and furloughing staff to do it, not teams like Tottenham. Now, yeah, not teams like Tottenham, Liverpool, and such. I think it's embarrassing, to be honest. Daniel Levy, though, isn't it, I suppose.
I don't think any Premier League side who's on Premier League money, TV money, or parachute payments should be allowed to do it, side, because it's the revenues. They've got revenue, so how on earth can the, you know what I mean? And it doesn't sit right with me anyway. You know what I mean? If somebody can't afford to pay a workforce, it's the full workforce across the board. It's not. I won't pay a cleaner who's on X amount of money, but I'll pay a centre forward who's on £200,000 a week. You can't pick and choose who you do it to. You know what I mean? It's either, you know what I mean? Because the players aren't working now, regardless of what people say. Yes, they're training at home, but they're not working. You know what I mean? They're not playing games, so they're not. You know what I mean? So you can't really say, oh well, the players have to get paid because they're working. Well, no, because the chief executive and some people who run in the clubs sometimes, you know what I mean, is still getting operated even if the club's not open. You know what I mean? So there's still things getting done behind closed doors, and if people are getting furloughed left, right, and centre, then football can't just start again when the EFL want it as well, because if people have been furloughed for 3 months, then they've got every right to say, I'm not working until we get paid.
Rhys Weston, sorry to just veer off. Rhys Weston just said, Andy Campbell, my daughter has just pointed to you on the screen and said, "This, Daddy." Wow.
Worrying.
Big Daddy Campbell. Big Daddy Campbell.
I always thought Rhys was a good looking lad, to be fair. So fair play.
Super Kev is spreading.
It is.
What else we got? Jamie says Daniel Levy is so and so. F him. Gaz Cubbins says Gaz Cubbins says Levy is a skinflint. He says, I'm going to put that one up on the screen because it's a bit longer. Tottenham are genuinely in trouble, though. They owe nearly 700 million for the stadium and nearly 200 million in transfer fees, which is a good point. Just because they're a massive club doesn't mean that they're not necessarily in trouble. But my argument would be that if they were genuinely in trouble, they could sell Harry Kane for 150 million.
Totally agree.
They could also come to an arrangement for the transfer fees, and I'm pretty sure that whoever they owe money to the stadium for would accept some sort of restructuring of the deal make sure they get them 700 million.
If there's 9 games left of the season, for example, then the maximum games that Spurs can have at home is 5, right? Let's say there's 5 games. How much money are they going to make with them 5 games?
Yeah, they're making 700 million.
Because already season tickets have already been sold out. So what kind of money are they? Are they really going to say that they're going to make £100 million off every game? It isn't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. So it's just an excuse now. And Daniel Levy is just trying to find ways of cutting corners and saving money. And that's just the way that he's done it for years, though.
Spot on, mate. Spot on.
I thought that was
Leslie makes a fantastic point there.
Yeah,
so I'm just going to read it for the audio listeners, because obviously people listen to it after it's gone out live. So for the audio listeners, the people at the back, Neville made a very good point. Anyone in using the furlough to pay staff, they should ban from signing players. I think that's spot on. And you'll soon see the big clubs find the money to pay their all staff. Alan Jones also said, show the T-shirt that you're wearing.
I'm showing him, mate. He keeps texting me. Keep doing it. Where am I? Oh,
you've got to stand up higher. Look. Away Day Apparel.
There we go.
Indeed. And that takes us perfectly into today's show, brought to you by Away Day Apparel. Away Day Apparel, fast becoming the brand on the casual scene. If you check out their website, www.awaydayapparel.co.uk, you can follow them on Twitter at Away Day Apparel and Instagram at @awayday_apparel, facebook.com Away Day Apparel. They got some outstanding clobber and some big things happening for the brands despite a global pandemic. It might slow down the momentum, but it will not stop it. And especially for viewers, listeners of Ace Podcast Nation, supporters of Ace Podcast Nation, if you go to place your order as normal, buy some t-shirts, buy some hats, whatever you want. Got some nice limited edition bobble hats ready for the winter as well. When you go to the checkout to pay for your order, enter the code AA Podcast Nation, all in lowercase, and you'll have 10% off all your order. And cannot fault you, cannot fault them for supporting the show. And Big Al has been outstanding in his support, not just for this show, but for Ace Podcast Nation as a channel. And I thank them for sponsoring the show. Let's have a look what we got in the comments. Jamie Isles says, Joe Lewis has a net worth of £4.3 billion. He has enough money. Who's Joe Lewis?
Oh,
someone fill me in. Who's Joe Lewis?
Is he an owner? Is he an owner?
I don't know. Jamie, who's Joe Lewis, mate? You'll have to fill us in. We're not sure who that is.
Joe Lewis.
But he sounds like a rich man anyway.
Yeah.
So just while we wait for Jamie to fill us in on that, I'm going to Pierre Aubameyang, Arsenal striker, before he signed for Arsenal, was hotly touted around as one of the best young strikers in Europe. He's had a bit of a up and down time at Arsenal. Has been encouraged by the president of the Gabon Football Association, which I think is his country of origin, to leave the club or secure a contract with a more ambitious club. I think he's out of contract at the end of the season. I think, but I might be wrong. What do you think about that, mate? Because
I don't see. Listen, if I don't think anybody's got a right to say that. Certainly not a country or a president or a manager whose country's not really going to achieve anything. It doesn't make sense to me. It's not like, he's going to be the best player in for that nation, regardless who he plays for. If he was playing for Leyton Orient, and this is me being disrespectful to Leyton Orient, he would still be the best player for Gabon. So it still just doesn't make sense, that those kind of comments. You know what I mean? He's played for Borussia Dortmund. He was outstanding for them. He gone to the Premier League because the Premier League is a different animal to the Bundesliga. It probably suits him a little bit better. But obviously, when he went to Arsenal, they were bringing in a different type of play. You know what I mean? Ozil, the expectation on Ozil was higher. You know what I mean? And obviously now they've got Arteta in charge. You know what I mean? You don't know where you've got to give him an opportunity. So, for me, I think comments like that just need to be kept to themselves, because I think it's just ridiculous.
But what do you think about this theory which gets floated around about Arsenal? Do you still regard them as one of the best clubs in the Premier League?
No.
In terms of
I think they lost.
They're top six club now, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they lost that probably when Wenger left. I think similar to when Fergie left United.
See, I think they lost it before that.
Yeah, well, I do. I think it was a little bit like United with Fergie, that towards the end of his tenure, that you could see the cracks starting to appear. You know what I mean? So obviously, Sir Alex left for me at the right time, perfect timing when he left and handed the reins over. And I think, but obviously, Wenger had the Invincibles. You know what I mean? He won the Premier League, won the FA Cup. You know what I mean? He had a fantastic side, but everything was built with the fundamentals of defence first, and then going forward from there. Arsenal, especially over the last 6, 7, 8 years, defensively they've been absolutely shambolic. And you know what I mean, regardless how many goals they score and how much they keep the ball and they play this attractive, flowing football, if they can't defend and the goalkeeper can't catch or save a shot, then they've got absolutely no chance. You know what I mean? Defensively, they've been weak. They've had no winners in midfield probably since Patrick Vieira. And for me, I just think comments, you know what I mean, about Arsenal being up there with the Liverpools, the Man Cities. For me, the miles off behind Spurs for me at the minute. You know what I mean? Potentially, and Man United. You know what I mean, with the players that they're bringing in. You know what I mean? They were picking up They were on a really good run of form. So you know what I mean. They're not for me in the same ilk as those. You know what I mean. I watched obviously the Leeds game closely when they played Arsenal, and for me, Leeds ran them all over the park in the first half. It was only probably a little bit of fitness which let Leeds down in the end, and that's for me, that's got to be quite worrying as well, because you know what I mean. No team in that league is good enough just to warrant a place to stay up, for example. You know what I mean. The teams can beat anybody on a given day, and you know what I mean. The Evertons of this world, you know what I mean, they can give Arsenal a game on their own on the day, same as Crystal Palace and teams like that. So you know what I mean. I think the talk of Arsenal being probably a top four side for me is extraordinary at the minute.
What would be a good club for Aubameyang in your opinion?
At the minute, the way that Man United are going and the players that they're pushing forward, he could probably lead their line. You know what I mean? Because with Rashford, the way they play, and Martial or James, with Pogba, Fernandes behind, you know what I mean? That would just be pure pace and experience and goals. So for me, that would be an interesting option. You know what I mean? Because I don't see many other options probably in England for him to stay, unless he, you know what I mean, or unless there was a gap. Maybe it's Chelsea, for example. Maybe there might be a Chelsea if he wants to stay in London. Chelsea would be a good option because Giroud, Tammy Abraham. You know, apart from them, they haven't really got anybody else to lead the line, so that could probably be a shout. But for me, both of those two options would be a better option than what he's currently at. So, you know what I mean? He's got, his options are open, and then there's probably other options from abroad, which are probably more appealing for him. With different countries, for example, Spain, Italy. So I'm guessing the world is oyster, really.
Yeah, I think he's got plenty of choices. Jamie said Joe Lewis is one of the owners of Tottenham, he's got a net worth of 4.3 billion. So again, you know, that the good point which Gaz made about the stadium, the money they owe for that and everything. In actual fact, it's you know, they don't. You can't have any sympathy for them in terms of potentially getting in trouble.
How can they have How can they owe £700 million on a stadium when he owns the club and he could buy that stadium outright?
Yeah, well, he should have bought the stadium outright, really, shouldn't he? Yeah. But he didn't.
Unless the debt, and this is what I find out about football at the minute with all this furloughing, that people
finding out who's in debt.
Well, people own the debt as well, though. You know what I mean? Chairmans own the debt. So chairmans lend money to football clubs and then get it back interest-free. Well, it's not really... So they're not really in debt. It's just people not spending their own money. They're just gaining it back over the years from Premier League money, etc., and attendances. They're paying out a big outlay at the beginning and then grabbing it back later on in life, which I just don't really the right thing to do.
No, it's not. It's not on at all, really. Of course, guys, you can send in questions anytime you want, and we'll just answer them as we're going along. Leslie says he thinks that Pep will sell John Stones this season. Won't be a Manchester City player next year. Do you agree with that, my friend?
I think they've struggled defensively this year. I think he's been at fault for some big goals this season, and at major times, and just been talking about Arsenal's invincibles and when they have proper defenders who throw the body in front of things, and the likes of Van Dijk, you know what I mean, at Liverpool, that Man City needs something like that. So they need somebody of that kind of ilk. And is John Stones that kind of player? No, he's not. He's very good on the ball. He comes out with it. He likes to play. He likes to look and get on the ball, and he's that kind of player. But you know what I mean. I think Pep's not scared to make big calls and big decisions since he's gone to Man City. He's got rid of some big name players since he's got there, and I think he'll continue to do it over the summer.
Yeah, I mean, if you'd asked me in the summer, I'd have said that he could do a lot worse than go to Manchester United. I think he's exactly what they need. He's a very real Ferdinand lad.
Yeah.
But
I think it would be a perfect coil for somebody like Harry Maguire. I think if him and Harry Maguire played centre halves together, I think it would be a good fit. But I can't see it happening. Could he go to Chelsea? I don't know. Possibly could. We'll just have to wait and see. Anybody got any more questions while Si's bin me off? I'll answer anything. So within reason. Within reason. I won't.
Oh,
What did he just said?
what happened then? Right, so you froze up, and then when I tried to unfreeze you, I got booted out of the stream. But we're back. What did he say? What did he say to you about your face when you froze? Does it?
Says you've gone for it. He says you've gone for a poo.
I see. No, it was you froze up. You did, and then I had to.
Did I?
Like,
and I was talking.
You froze up,
and
I tried to unfreeze you. And
I finished off my conversation about John Stones saying that I think he could be a good foil for Harry Maguire.
Okay, I think Koulibaly is more what they need. I think he's more of a they need him like a physical big defender who's going to be that John Terry type to go alongside, because people think Harry Maguire's that. Now he is quite physical, but he's actually a very good footballer. He brings the ball out. He starts a lot of attacks coming out of our defense. Also, guys, I forgot to say at the start, we're going to get into the retro games in just a sec. But to finish the show this evening, we are doing a penalty shootout quiz. Si versus Campbell. 5 questions each. I got 5 questions for Andy on his chosen subjects. He's got 5 for me on my chosen subjects.
Mastermind.
Whoever wins gets to choose a song for the other one to sing us out to. Now, I will say, because we don't want to get the video taken down, we will only play about 20 seconds of us singing to the song for copyright, and then the show will finish. But then afterwards, about half hour after the show, I will post it all over the social media platforms. Full video, because, what's the point in having like a punishment? What's the word? Punishment? Not dare, is it? What's the word? I don't know. Whatever the word is.
It's not a punishment, is it? It's I don't know.
Not sure.
No, it's just,
I can't think of the word. There's like a word on the tip of my tongue, and I can't think what it is. But yeah. Yes. So if anyone could have a look on Twitter to see if the show is streaming on there, I'd be very grateful if they could have a quick look on the Ace Cast Nation page. Only because, I know it was earlier, but I haven't had any thumbs up or likes or any comments on it for a while. So I'm just wondering if it's gone off. Obviously, it's new to us. But yeah. We saved going into the retro stuff, mate. Me and Super Kev were going to obviously do Boro versus Bolton from the Carling Cup back in, I forget the year, 96, 97, I think it was. But when Boro won there.
The Middlesbrough, when Middlesbrough won in the Carling Cup 2004.
2004, but that was their only trophy, wasn't it? So initially, obviously, we thought you were going to be on the show last week. So we got, sorry, I've just got to stop what I'm saying there. Very important comment has just come up on the live chat, and I feel it's important that I share it with everyone, just so everybody knows. There we go. Ian David said this has got a Willis win written all over it, referring to the quiz.
David's quite a favorite. David's quite a favorite of yours, I'm quite. So you don't count your chickens.
And it's weird because anyone would think that he was one of my best friends for a very long time. And not, not the complete stranger that he is.
So and, does Ian want to put does Ian want to join you for a little duet if you lose then?
No, me and Ian, boy, we did a duet at my stag do. That was not pretty. I was dressed as an Indian and like a cowboy and Indian type theme, and I had no top on. It was all a bit.
Sounds like a good night, that.
Yeah, well, the photos look good. That's all I will say. Apart from that, I couldn't tell you. Bolton Borough. Borough's only trophy they ever won. We were supposed to do it last week. but me and Super Kev conferred, and we decided we would leave it for you to review with us, because being a Boro fan, you haven't exactly had many successes.
I haven't had any
trophy-wise.
I haven't had any. And to be fair, Si, I nearly missed this one. Obviously, living in Cardiff, I was really looking forward to it because it was on the Sunday and we played on the Saturday. And I think we played away. We played in Birmingham, I think. And unfortunately, Cardiff got beat the day before. I think we got beat 3-0. And Lenny was the manager. And Lenny spat his dummy out a little bit after the game and made us all train on the Sunday morning. But then he didn't train on the Sunday morning. He trained us at I think we started training at 1 o'clock at Ninian Park. So we did it. Obviously, the game started at 3 o'clock at Millennium Stadium. So I trained in my training kit and then ran all the way down to Millennium Stadium in my training kit to go and join in with all the mates and go and watch the game, because it was one game that I just couldn't miss. I couldn't miss, regardless how upset and how bad I was the day before for Cardiff. This was one game that I just couldn't miss, and I'm so glad that I got there, because what a start! You know what I mean? 2 minutes in, and Bolo's ending drove down the left and crossed in for Joseph Job, and to see some of those players play for Middlesbrough, you know what I mean? That was the reason why we ended up winning a trophy. You know what I mean? Steve McLaren, obviously, I didn't leave Middlesbrough under great times with obviously Steve in charge, but you know what I mean, when he started bringing these kind of players back into the fold, and just Bolo himself just creating the first chance for Joseph to score the goal, and Middlesbrough continued to attack after that, and I can't remember who played the ball into Joseph Job in the box, but I think it might have been Zenden again, or it might be Mendieta, but he just tried to roll the centre half, you know what I mean, inside the box, and to be fair, he was 1-on-1 before he got brought down in the box, so a penalty, opportunity to make it 2-0, Bolo Zenden stepping up, and I thought, here we go, you know what I mean, it's going to be fantastic, and as he shot it, it went in, you know what I mean, you're just going to, absolute delirious. I didn't even realise that he kicked it twice at the time. You know what I mean? I even probably till about 3 or 4 days later, till I watched it again, I didn't realise that he kicked it twice. And when I watched it again, and I watched it again today, I don't know how he's got away with it. Because if that was on VAR,
what's the ruling on that?
He's kicked it twice. I think he's got. If that's VAR, they wouldn't be able to do it again. The referee's got to see it, and it's not clear. I watched it about 3 or 4 times today, and it wasn't clear from a couple of angles. So it depends on what angle he's got it at, because he's got to be stood one side of the penalty take. He's not stood behind directly. So he's stood either left or right. And if he's stood the other side because he's kicked it against his other foot, he's probably not going to see it. So he's probably stood the safe side for Bolo to be able to get the goal. And you know what I mean? But not one Bolton player complained. So that's the interesting thing. Not one player, not the goalkeeper. Nobody stood behind. Nobody complained, because it did look like he just slipped. So... but obviously that gave him a 2-0 lead, and for me then I thought this is going to be, just watching in the stand, you're thinking this is game over. It's going to be 3-4-5 here, because Bolton just weren't at the races at all, and we were really comfortable. And then Kevin Davies picked the ball up on the right hand side, and he had nowhere to go. He crossed the ball in hard and low, and I'm not even sure what Mark Swarter did. And do you know what? I played with Mark, and Mark is one of the, if not the best goalkeeper in Middlesbrough's history. You know what I've saw and what I've come across, and I've watched Middlesbrough for years and years and years, and he. There's no other word apart from throwing it in. He threw one in. He made a horrific mistake, and he just gave Bolton an opportunity. But when you need a hero to come along, you know what I mean. He stood up to be counted, and he made some. I'd call them world class saves. He made 2, if not 3, world class saves towards the end, which give us a trophy. And you know what I mean. Regardless of it, he made a mistake. If it wasn't for him, Middlesbrough certainly wouldn't have won that trophy, because his 2 saves at the end. One from Djokayev was just absolutely outstanding.
Do you know, people forget some of the players that the Boro had over the years. Like I know they remember like Juninho and all those, but then they had like a break from that type of top level player. But then, like when Zenden came in, he was not like 40 at the end of his career. He was still very high level. Mendieta was a bit old, but incredible player.
Yeah.
Mark Swartzer, incredible keeper.
Gareth Southgate, Ugo Ekiog.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They were full of just international players, and you know what I mean. Considering, you know what I mean, the Brian Robson era, Janino, Ravanelli, Boxic, Emerson, and then to replace all those kind of players with the quality, what do you know? What I mean? It just shows the times that football club had. You know what I mean? It's going to be so hard to replace them and get them back because of where the club are currently. But you can't take those times away from the football club. And if they hadn't have won anything, then I'd be worried about them forever because you know what I mean. Because it's going to be a long time for me before they can win anything again with the money what's involved in football. Because there's just too much money involved, and even reserve sides at the minute are is stronger than some of the Championship sides.
Yeah, spot on. I got to say, obviously Schwarzer made a mistake for the goal, but he also made some incredible saves.
His save,
in this game.
His save from Djokayev was just he kind of seen it until for me it was past him, and how he's got one hand on it and then another hand is just beyond me. And you know what I mean. I think I looked at the goal, and the goal is so easy to save, and he will save that probably 999 times out of 1,000. But that one time he let it in was in the biggest stage of at the time was his career. So you know what I mean. Unfortunately, it didn't, or fortunately, it didn't impact on the game, but it gave Bolton an opportunity to get back into it. Because if that hadn't gone in, I'd fear for them because they were outclassed in the first 20-25 minutes. They weren't at the races at all.
Indeed. And I think they were, Bolton unfortunately made a slow start.
Yeah, and they were a good side.
I think that's an understatement.
They were a good side as well. You know what I mean? Djokayev's, Kevin Davis, Okocha's. You know, they had a very good side. They had a really, really good side. You know what I mean? Big Sam Adam playing some really good stuff. You know what I mean? They're being consistent. You know what I mean? The Reebok was flying. You know what I mean? Gaz knows his teams. And it's just, you know what I mean? It's they were a very good side, and you know, we deserved to be in that final along with Middlesbrough.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And he's right. Gaz says Bolton had some quality under Big Sam, and Sam brought in Djorkaeff, JJ Okocha, Ivan Campo. Yeah. You know, some of the Europe's elite players on freeze.
Yeah, but he didn't just bring them in though, side, did he? He got them playing as well. He didn't just, you know what I mean? He didn't just bring them in to see out the careers. He brought them in, and they performed. Some of them better than they performed all the way through the career. So he had that X factor, Sam. He could get the best out of players, and that's how he became really successful as a manager.
Well, that's how he built his reputation, wasn't it? I think initially was by just bringing in maybe players who had maybe struggled elsewhere, or just I don't know what the word is really. And what else stood out to you from this game? Any particular players?
Obviously, Juninho
returned you going.
For obviously his second spell. Interesting when you see the celebrations and things. Obviously, Big Hugo obviously lost his life 2 years ago now, isn't it? 2 or 3 years ago now, and you got a young Stewie down in there who didn't get on the pitch. You know what I mean? Middlesbrough born and bred, and it's just nice to see young players getting a little bit of recognition, and so it's just such a nice feeling to watch Middlesbrough win in Cardiff, especially living in Cardiff as well. It was just a surreal feeling really, and time, and obviously with what happened at the Millennium Stadium the year before, with me personally, to go back and watch Middlesbrough win there about a year later, or less than a year later, was just an amazing feeling really.
Yeah, indeed. Leslie just said, I'm glad Juninho was part of the team. He's said on live TV that it was better than winning the World Cup with Brazil. Nice touch. I don't think these players were signing with Middlesbrough to expecting to win trophies and
no.
I like, and at the end of the day, I had a laugh and a joke with you, but like Boro haven't won a trophy since. It's kind of one of those things, isn't it? It's
well, sorry, you just hit the nail on there. These kind of players were all signing to put Middlesbrough on the map. They were all signing because of the reputation what Brian Robson had, because of what Steve Gibson had done, because of what Steve McLaren had done. You know what I mean? And it put Middlesbrough Football Club on the map. And if it wasn't for those good times, you know what I mean, I'd worry about the area. I'd worry about the football club certainly, because it would be in a mess. It would be an absolute mess.
Yeah. So the next game that you selected was Liverpool 4, Newcastle 3. Obviously, an all-time classic.
Yeah, what a game! Yeah, 95,
game.
95, 96, I think it was, and obviously Liverpool were full of the Spice Boys, and Newcastle were under obviously King Kevin. You know what I mean? Just attack, and he'd normally win games 6-5 and 5-4, and you know what I mean. They still had an outside chance of the title, and but the game was obviously a Sky game, midweek game. Liverpool started absolutely fantastically, and Stan Collymore with a great left foot crossing for Robbie Fowler, and I forgot how good Robbie Fowler was. That he didn't seem to do a lot of running around, but he was always in the box and he always scored every time he got the ball, and he was just an absolutely unbelievable finisher. But then see Newcastle, when Newcastle attacked, it was hard to stop them. You know what I mean? They struggled defensively sometimes, but when they attack, and you just couldn't stop them. And Faustino Asprilla, he had little twinkle toes in the box, and he smashed it. He smashed it across for Les Ferdinand to crash home an equaliser, and then he slipped through David Ginola to drive down the left hand side past Jason McAteer and finished past David James excellently. And then obviously half time, you're thinking, Jesus, thank God for that. You know what I mean? You need a rest from all the action, and the second half just fitted better than the first. And Liverpool started excellent again. McManaman crossed for Fowler, who's just the way he struck a ball, and he struck the ball across the goalkeeper into the far corner and made it 2-2. And then Asprilla broke away, and his finish was absolutely unbelievable, outside the right foot, past David James, and it just gives you goosebumps really watching it, because you see Kevin Keegan absolutely delighted, but then you just knew there was something going to happen, and Liverpool broke back again. McAtee crossed it in for Stan Collymore to finish in the 6-yard box, little tidy finish, but great ball from Jason McAteer. And then the last goal was just phenomenal, because Ian Rush passed to Barnes passed him back to Rush passed back to Barnes, and then all of a sudden he found Collymore and he smashed home. And it was I don't think it was the goal, but it was a reaction to Kevin Keegan after that. He put his head in his knee, and you know what I mean, the camera just stuck on him, and it was just one of those moments that you'll just never forget, that you just knew then that unfortunately that's Newcastle United's title hopes have been dashed. And as a North East football fan and Middlesbrough fan, you just you're quite pleased really that Newcastle aren't going to get the chance to win the Premier League. But as a neutral football fan, it was unbelievable. Brilliant picture, that, isn't it?
Indeed. So I don't know if you can you see that now? Yeah. So that's what's that? That's talk us through it. Can everyone else see that? I think they can. Tell us if you can see
1993, 94. That's obviously Lenny Lawrence, Middlesbrough manager in the middle, at Ayson Park. Me there with my new jumper on. And the other lad's called Anthony Ormerod, and we both signed our contracts on that night. So that was me signing schoolboy forms at 14. So I signed 2-year schoolboy forms at 14 and signed 2-year schoolboys and 2-year YTS. But I just signed 2-year schoolboys. Jesus Christ. My screen nearly cracked.
Beautiful,
isn't it?
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, 14 years old. So yeah, quite a.
So now I got to work out how I don't know how to get that off the screen.
Quite a long time ago.
I have to stay forever. Yeah, back in the day, as it were. That's what they say.
Good old days.
Indeed. Welcome, Richie, by the way. It's good to see you in the live chat. What else we got? Leslie says, of course, you know, this Liverpool Newcastle game, which was finished 4-3, is the famous Collymore commentary, isn't it? Where he goes, Collymore! Yeah, right at the end.
Unbelievable.
So Leslie says, I saw Kevin Keegan at Teesside Park, and he came out the shop with a bin. I said, is that for the players? He laughed and said, a few need to be in it.
Bang on, though.
Keegan.
Bang on. Super Kev. King Kev.
There's only one Super Kev. Oh, Barry Phillips in the YouTube chat now. He's like, he's jumping about from Facebook to YouTube.
Roman.
Yeah, indeed. Gaz asks, Barry, he says, Barry, is the show live Friday? Yep. The Boot and the Limp, for those who don't know, is our new adults-only podcast. I'm myself, stand-up comedian Barry Phillips, so we just take a nice light-hearted look at the world. No one for under 18s, a lot of adult content, adult language, etc. All a bit of fun. Very good. We were told by a few people last Friday's episode was the best yet, apparently. Where I will ask this question. I don't like to swear on this show particularly, so I'm going to sort of skirt around it a bit. Want to know if this happened in Middlesbrough like it did in Cardiff. So when I was about, somewhere between, like, say, 11 and 13, if you'd be like the ball, you'd be playing football, ball would go into the bushes and you find a carrier bag. And in the carrier bag, it would be full of adult literature. Okay? So adult books for adults with pictures. We discussed this on last week's show, but like when you come out of the book, when you came out of the hedge with the bag, you were like the king of the group. You were like, yeah, look what I found. But also, what I've always wondered is, where did they come from? Because I know for a fact that it has happened in America, because I had someone tweet me this week and say, yeah, we had that in California or North Carolina. I know it's happened in other parts of Wales. Did you ever heard of that in the borough? Just finding random carrier bags full of adult magazines.
I think in certain places, unfortunately, it just seems to happen, doesn't it? And it seems to be someone's special little stash, so that it's hidden away from a certain lady person in the house,
That's a good idea.
Hidden away. No, it's not my own experience, but yeah, I think it's a cunning plan.
It's a cunning plan. So we wondered whether it was because like people had, like a mum had found their kid's stash or something and they chucked them out. But then I was like, well, why wouldn't you chuck them in the bin? But yeah, there we go. That's a good. You came up with a good.
Yeah, I found a solution. A solution.
Yeah. Leslie just asked, have I ever been to Middlesbrough? I have not, but myself and myself, Andy, and Alan are planning an Ace Podcast Nation away day apparel road trip and we're going to film it all, and it's going to be immense. We're going to go to Boro to get Andy, and we're going to go to Chesterfield to see the Crooks. We're going to go to Scotland to see Super Kev. We're going to go, where else do we say? Somewhere else. Where was the other place?
Is it Bristol?
Up to Northampton to see Danny Batten, who does the MMA show.
Yeah, we're going to fight Danny Batten.
Fighters.
Going to fight Danny Batten.
And meet all the fighters from BST Gym. And we're going to try and get some interviews with some fighters and footballers around the country at the same time. We're going to film it all. My wife made a very good point. She said, I can't even drive to Bristol. So, but
that was where I got Bristol from.
Yeah, but that's all right, because I got my head of security is going to have to do some driving as well. But that's all right. It's all good. It's going to be good, though. And I say that's as if the bloody the road trip happens, if the lockdown will have to finish first.
Yeah.
Someone tweeted me yesterday and said the year's 2041. The Premier League 2020 season is about to start. Is about to be finished. Darren Anderton, Daniel Sturridge are still injured. It's really funny. But going back to the Liverpool Newcastle game, obviously it's an all-time classic, and
iconic. It's an iconic game for Premier League football, and to be honest, it's timing of the season as well. The way that games are going, the way that seasons are going. You know what I mean? It was just an absolute, just fantastic game of football, and just won't ever be beat, I don't think.
No, one of my favorite Premier League players of all time is actually Faustino Asprilla.
Yeah.
Well, my favourites: Faustino Asprilla, David Ginola, and Philip Albert. I used to love all three.
I seen Faustino Asprilla's debut. It was away for it was at Middlesbrough, Newcastle against Middlesbrough at the Riverside. He came on as sub at half time, and oh my God, he ripped Chris Morris a new backside that evening. He absolutely just ripped him up. I just felt really sorry for him because I've never seen a performance like it. I was one of those mouth open moments where he was doing all these tricks and all these turns, and I just couldn't believe what I was watching live on a pitch, and just made me think, Jesus Christ, I'm technically awful compared to you, but I'll give what I've got. I'll give what I've got. He was a genius. He was a genius with the ball. Genius.
Absolutely, mate. Next game was Cardiff 0, Wolverhampton 1. This was a massive game because Cardiff was still in the chance with challenging Wolves for the league title at that point. And Cardiff,
that's why I picked it. I picked it because of how big the game was. Obviously, the way that it ended, what happened after the game. There's obviously certain things I want to talk about, and you know what I mean. That I thought before the game, I was quite excited because I think. Forgive me if I'm wrong here, but I'm sure Cardiff went to Molineux and beat them as well at early on in the season. Yeah. I'm sure Joe Roll scored one of the goals. So I was quite excited when I thought this is an opportunity here for Cardiff to do the double over them and kick on to go and get promoted. And because obviously Wolves were the best side in the league by a country mile. You know what I mean? Apart from obviously individual games and stuff, but they were a good side. They obviously had all the big hitters who were still there now playing. They just came over from FC Porto, or the Ruben Neves, etc. Wolves started the best out of the two. I think Neves had a decent first shot, and Etheridge saved it for a long distance. And then Cardiff had the best chance of the first half just before half time with Joe Bennett. I think he cut in from the left hand side and 1-on-1, and I don't think there was many options in the box. He went for a shot and it went past the goalkeeper, Ruddy, but went past the far post as well. But then straight after the second half, I thought Wolves came out and they're absolutely fantastic and really, really worried me because everything was just a wave after wave after wave in attack. And they had 1-on-ones, Etheridge was saving. Cardiff really couldn't get out of their own half, and then Neves scored an absolute wonder free kick. I was a little bit disappointed with the goalkeeper, to be fair, at the time. I watched it again today and I watched it a couple of times, and it was a really good free kick, but he seemed to get two hands on it, Etheridge. But you know, he had a really good season, so I can't really fault him a little bit off that and off the at the moment. But Wolves kept coming forward and fought, and probably should have finished the game, put the game to bed before all the drama begun. But deep into injury time, a long hopeful ball went forward, and Pilkington was obviously as a makeshift centre forward, and got pushed in the back, which is just. I think it was Stedman who did.
Connor Cody.
Was it Connor Cody pushed Pilkington in the back, and obviously
criminal.
Referee gave a penalty. It was an absolute blatant penalty. But then all the players who were on the pitch, the one player who I didn't want to take or didn't expect to take it was Gary Medine, and I can only think. Obviously, Gary was very confident at the time, wanted to take it, but stepped up to take it. I don't think it was a really poor penalty, but. It was a decent save by Ruddy, I think, down to his left. And then there was a ball in the box straight away. It could have been another penalty on Junior Hoylett. It went out for a corner. Obviously, Gunnarsson put the ball in the box. The ball went back to Gunnarsson. He jinked in the box. He was brought down by two players. You know what I mean? How those two players were arguing that it wasn't a penalty were beyond me. And then
outside the box, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, that's what they say, but they're both diving in. So when you're both diving in, it's impossible for a referee to be able to tell. But then obviously Junior stepped up, and I thought, here we go, put your foot through it. You know what I mean? Rescue was a point, but he just went for absolute. He went for top corner. He went for the stanchion, and unfortunately hit the crossbar. It was that noise. I remember the noise because I was stood up in the front room and desperate to see the ball go in the net, and I can still hear the noise now because it was like the hollow crossbar. Hit the crossbar, came out, and then the final whistle couldn't have been blown any sooner. And then obviously even more fun began because all their players celebrated, all their staff, manager celebrated without shaking hands. And then obviously he composed himself, tried to go and speak to obviously Sir Neil Warnock, and then obviously the trouble began, and Neil stuck to his guns and used some choice language and words to tell him to go away, and obviously. But that's not the first time he did it, by the way, because he did it against Middlesbrough the week after as well. He didn't shake Tony Pulis' hand as well. So after they beat Middlesbrough in not similar circumstances, but with a 1-0 win, and you know, it just shows the lack of respect from the man. But what a game of football, live on Sky as well. It's like Sky know what kind of games that they want to pick, and you know what I mean. I was disappointed with Cardiff didn't get a result, but they played their part in a massive game, and I think stood them in good stead for later on, obviously in the season, really.
Well, so a couple of things. First of all, I would say to... It was a great game. They played well, etc. But to have 2 penalties in the last couple of minutes and come away with nothing in a 1-0 game is criminal.
Yeah.
Gary Medine, Johnny Wish has just said in the comments on YouTube, Gary Medine is one of the worst players Cardiff have signed in the last 15 years. Harsh, but I do sort of agree. He wasn't very good. All right, let's say he's not a terrible footballer, clearly. He's a professional footballer. But I will also say everything I saw him do for Cardiff, he was absolutely shocking. So I will say that. Even Junior Hoylett's penalty, I really felt like he went for a bit too much power, probably because he was aware with the first penalty had been missed, etc., etc. In terms of the Nuno thing at the end, on its own, I didn't have a problem with it as long if he had shook hands with Warnock briefly and then run onto the pitch, wouldn't have had an issue with it at all. The fact that he didn't and then came back as if and was making out almost as if Neil Warnock was being a bit of a knob when in reality it was him. And then the fact he did it the week after, and he'd done it earlier in the season as well, I believe, something similar. He deserved the pelters he got. A certain Neil Campbell in the live chat asks, have you mentioned my egg video? Neil, for those of you who don't know, is Andy's brother. Talk me through it, mate.
Well, I don't know if people have seen, obviously, the lockdown videos of people with no hair, obviously pretending that their head's an egg in an egg box. And he's done it to his girlfriend's done it on TikTok or whatever. I'm not into this TikTok thing, but if I can, I might be able to put it on so people can see, and I'll do it on here. So if I can, where am I here? Right, ready? Here we go.
Here he goes.
Top draw.
People are going insane now, aren't they? People are going insane now.
Yeah, top draw though. Yeah, it's. Do you know what? I think I was struggling that day as well. And when he sent that through, I think it just sorted me week out. It just got me going. It was just one of the funniest things.
Yeah, it just gives you a lift, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Alan says, what did he say? I can't see it. Where's it gone? What has Neil Harris seen from Gary Medine? Is Gary Medine still there now, or did they loan him or sell him?
No, he's got released.
I thought they binned him.
Yeah, he got released. Yeah,
they binned him, didn't they? But
they got rid of it.
He played him though, didn't he? Neil Harris paid him
when he first came in. He was his first choice striker, which he must have had something on Neil Harris there, because he went from not playing to playing, which is and then getting released. So didn't get it. It was all very strange.
Yeah, and he wasn't even like he was playing just now and again. He was like first choice, wasn't he? He was. Yeah. It's craziness. But yeah, Cardiff in only the way Cardiff can, really absolutely bottled the game, missing 2 penalties and losing 1-0. No, not very good from Wolves. And the final game we're going to discuss is Barcelona 6, PSG 1. This is one of the most remarkable games I've ever seen in my life. So, talk us through first of all, mate.
Well, 2019.
Talk us through their first leg score first.
2019. So, before I start, if anybody gets an opportunity to watch the highlights, watch it, because I've never seen a game with so much drama, so many, just so much good play, and so many attacking chances, opportunities, etc. The first game finished in Paris Saint-Germain home to Barcelona. It was Paris Saint-Germain 4, Barcelona 0. So, obviously, the second leg started. Obviously, Barcelona had to win 4-0 to draw level, 5-0 to go through. Barca started fantastically well on the front foot, and I think it was scrappy play attacking-wise, but awful defending by Paris Saint-Germain. And Luis Suarez got his head to a ball and just it crossed the line before the defender could clear it over the line. So it gave them an unbelievable opportunity to just to get the foothold in the game and give him. And as the game grew, they gave him a bit of confidence. And Barcelona continued to attack. And Messi probably should have scored. Neymar had another opportunity to score. And then just before half time, Iniesta danced through in the box. Caused loads of problems and just caused an own goal to be scored by Paris Saint-Germain. Yeah, it was just unbelievable. But it's just comical defending by PSG. But 2-0 at half time, and then you expect probably Barcelona to go on and come to win this game. And obviously the second half didn't really materialise the way that I probably expected it and watched it again. That straight away again in the second half that Barcelona continued to attack and Neymar got in the box. He went down. Penalty was given. Messi stepped up to smash it up. That's 3-0. So they're getting beat now 4-3 in aggregate. But then all of a sudden PSG came into the game. And PSG came into the game and it was Cavani. He should have scored. He hit the post. And then he scored an absolutely fantastic effort. Smashed it in the roof of the net. Stegen had absolutely no chance. But then he was 1-on-1 again. Could have scored. You know what I mean? For me, that
should have scored.
Probably should have scored. Probably didn't need to score, but because the game should have been well and truly over. You know what I mean? Because Barcelona had to score 6 now, and so they needed 3 more goals. But didn't score. Very good stay by Stegen. But then time for the drama. Neymar got a free kick in, 35 yards out on the left hand side, and he bent it in the top corner. It should never have gone in. You know what I mean? He shouldn't even be shooting from there. It just shows how talented the man is. And so that's them then 4-1 up. So still need 2 more goals to go through. Suarez long ball forward. He went down in the box, and then another penalty, which Neymar smashed home. That's 5-5, but they're still out. They're going to be out in away goals unless they get another goal. And then Barcelona throw on the kitchen sink. Stegen goes up for a throw in. He stays up for crosses. But then they don't stop the cross. PSG just didn't stop the cross. And a long ball forward, I think it was by Iniesta. And Roberto was one of 5 centre forwards in the box to volley it home. And the celebrations was just outrageous. And I don't think, honestly, it'll ever happen again, because to have to score 6 goals in a game to win, to go through in the Champions League at the quarter-final stage was just absolutely surreal, especially with the players that PSG had. We're not talking about a pub team here, by the way. We're talking about players who are probably just as big as Barcelona's were. You know what I mean? You're on about Neymar. Neymar then went to PSG. So there's, obviously financial reasons, but he went there to be successful. You know what I mean? So it just shows how much of an unbelievable result it was. And some of the chances created, some of the goals scored. Richie saying that it was 4-0. It was 4-0. First leg, Richie, and obviously they beat them in the second leg 6-1, so that was 6-5 on aggregate, and it was just an unbelievable game. And Neymar came to the boil, Messi came to the boil, Suarez scored, and when you need your big players to come and play, they just all turn up, and that's what happened on the night. And it must be an absolute privilege to go and watch those kind of players, and yeah, I don't think there's going to be many more Champions League games like that. Again, I can't imagine there's an English team who will score 6 goals in the Champions League by getting beat 4-0 in the first leg. So it'll be an interesting one. So what Sai said, that I think once he comes back, he's obviously bored of me already. Once he comes back, we're going to do these. I'm going to do this quiz. I pick 5 questions for Sai. Sai's. I'll give Jonesy just said there. I've got a shout out for Clem. Clem's watching live for the first time, so I'll give him a shout out. So I'll give that shout out. Yeah, Sai, I was just saying there that finished talking about that game. I just said that I was just about to say your subjects for your quiz. Do you want to? Do you want to tell people what you chose?
Yeah. So for my subjects, I chose Cardiff City and Manchester United this week. Have you said what? Where did I cut out then?
Just at the end of the just after Roberto scored his goal. So I just talked about a bit of Messi and etc.
So there was at one point I just want to make quickly about that game. I believe that this game was the reason that Neymar left Barcelona.
Yeah.
Because I believe that this was the game where Neymar finally came to a come of age, or whatever you want to say. Because he was outstanding in this game. He scored an incredible goal, but he was all game was outstanding.
Yeah,
And I think in it's just my opinion. Obviously, I don't know what's going on in his mind other than what he's said publicly. But I believe that this is where he felt that they should have been backing him over Messi, because Messi's getting older. He's the young, the new star on the block. They've obviously got Suarez as well. And I feel like he wanted Barcelona to back him as the main guy. They didn't, or weren't going to. So he said, right, I'll go and sign for someone else. Whether he made the right decision is debatable, because the French league is not great.
Yeah.
But I do believe this was the turning point for him. Psychologically.
Totally agree. And I said there, side about the big players coming to the table, and you know what I mean. That I don't think it'll ever happen again, because they could have just sat and shut up shop and defended just deep for the full 90 minutes if they wanted to. And I think they got the tactics all wrong.
Oh God, yeah. You cannot surrender a 4-0 lead, doesn't matter who you're playing against. And Cardiff have done that. God, we surrendered 4-0 at half time to Peterborough.
Yeah.
Right. So the quiz is basically we both selected two subjects, and then the other's got to come up with 5 questions, and then we got a tiebreaker should we be level. Whoever wins selects a song for the other to sing as we finish the show. So my subjects are Cardiff City and Manchester United, and Andy's subjects are Boro,
Middlesbrough, and the
Premier League. So, who's going to go first?
We're doing one question each.
Yeah, we'll go alternatively.
Right,
we should have done. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do rock paper scissors, because we can't toss a coin. Ready?
We're doing rock paper scissors shoot.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 shoot. Oh, yeah. Okay. Rock paper scissors shoot. Yeah, rock paper scissors shoot. There's a delay. Well, you got. I can't see your hand. Yeah, I got them too.
Go then. Ready? Go again. Go.
Rock paper scissors
shoot.
Fucking hell. I even lost in the delay. Well, then you can decide whether you want to go first or second.
I'll ask you first.
You'll ask me first. Oh, Jesus,
yeah, I'll ask you first. I'll ask you first.
Okay.
So I know if I'm chasing or not. So, right, question number 1. I feel important here.
Question number 1.
In which year was Cardiff City formed? No Googling.
No. 1898. I don't know.
Oh, that's how we got that? How did you guess that number? It's wrong, but it's wrong.
Memory.
But you get 1899.
Ah!
It's a great shout, though.
So annoying that is. That's annoying. That's more annoying than just getting it like 100 years out.
Compose yourself.
No, you're going to smash me now.
Compose yourself.
Okay. Question number 1. Who is the oldest player to play a Premier League football match?
Oh, the oldest player to play a Premier League football match? I'm going to go Ryan Giggs.
Incorrect. The answer is John Burridge, aged 43 years, 162 days for Man City versus QPR.
I know Budgie as well.
14th of May, 1995.
I know Budgie as well.
Yeah, see. Okay.
Keeper, yeah.
0-0.
Right. Hit the post. Right. I've now for your Man United one. So I've gone to Man United one now. So, how many times have Man United won the FA Cup?
8.
Oh.
12. I'm going to be 1 out again.
12. Miles off. 12.
Yeah. That's it. I'd rather that than being like
12.
1 year off.
It's going to be 0-0, this.
Yeah. Who is question number 2? Who is the youngest Boro player to ever play first team football?
Oh,
Should have a time limit, shouldn't we?
Yeah. I'm gonna go Bell.
Incorrect. The answer is Nathan Wood.
Oh, Nathan Wood took it.
Versus Notts County on the 14th of August 2018.
And do you know what? I trained Nathan as well. That's even worse. That's even worse.
Oh, you should get that if you trained him.
Yeah, I know. That's even worse.
Leslie got it. Leslie got it in the chat.
Yeah.
Rubbish. I forgot to look at the chat. I was so focused on the
rubbish
answers. I wasn't looking to see if people got the answers.
You're gonna
right,
get
0-0 after 2.
You're going to get this one now. Right. In 1927, Cardiff were the first non-English team to win the FA Cup, but who did they beat?
Go fucking clue. I have no idea.
Do you not know? So Cardiff won the FA Cup.
No, I've never paid attention to who they beat.
Have you not? No. I
thought
that was a good question. That's a good question, isn't it?
It is a good question, but I have no idea. Call myself a Cardiff City fan. Hang on, I'll have a guess. Arsenal.
Yes, you lucky man.
See, I wasn't joking, mate. Of course, I knew.
Yeah, I know. I know you did.
I was like building the tension. 1-0.
Yeah, 1-0. Disappointed. I'll have to get me singing voice on.
Oh yeah, get your karaoke right. Okay. You'll get this one. One of your heroes as well. Oof. I shouldn't have said that, should I? See, I told you I can't keep a secret. Straight away. Just tell you the answer. Question number 3. Who is the oldest Boro goal scorer of all time?
The oldest Boro goal scorer. Oldest Boro goal scorer. Hero. God. The oldest Boro goal scorer. I'm gonna go Bernie Slavin then, because that's
wrong. The answer is Brian Robson.
Robbo.
This is Port Vale.
I was there as well.
So what's that? 1-0, 2 to go.
You. Yeah, and
2 to go.
I've got.
So how many questions have you've answered? Oh no, yeah, 2. We've got 2 each to go, haven't we?
You got 2 left, yeah, and you're going to get both of these. Right. Who is Man United's all-time record goal scorer?
Wayne Rooney.
What? Yep.
2-0.
I need them both.
I nearly said Ruud van Nistelrooy. And do you know what, mate, right? I made these 4 questions. I made the first 4 what I thought was relatively... I thought you would get them. And then the 5th one's really hard. 2-0. 2 to go.
I'm doomed.
Come on.
Doomed.
I don't know if you're going to get this one.
Doomed. I need it.
Question number 4. Live chat. Help him out. Who is the youngest player to ever play Premier League football?
Who's the youngest player ever to play Premier League football?
Yeah.
I'm thinking West Ham. I seen the list.
I'll tell you that it's got absolutely nothing to do with West Ham.
I seen the list. I seen the list not long ago because I was number 5. I seen the list. Youngest ever player to play in the Premier League.
Is there a time limit on this? No one in the live chat's got it either, mind.
God, I couldn't even.
It is. I'll give you a clue. It's not Wayne Rooney. It's not Michael Owen.
No.
They play. It happened in May of 2019. And the fixture. Do you want me to tell you the fixture? The fixture was Fulham versus Wolves.
That's on a Fulham player then. No.
Yes.
Couldn't tell you. I was thinking of
the answer is Harvey Elliott, age 16 and 30 days, played for Fulham versus Wolves.
I was 16. I was 16 as well. I think I'm number 6 now. Then I think he's put me down another one, so I'm number 6.
So I think that means that I have an unassailable lead.
You do, yeah. But
we'll finish it off.
I'll ask you the final question. Where are we? Right. So, right, here we go. Right. So, who scored on his Middlesbrough debut against Cardiff City, but then became a Cardiff player?
Who scored on his Middlesbrough debut
against Cardiff and became a Cardiff player?
Trying to think of players who played for both. Oh, mine's gone blank.
Might be me.
You didn't make your debut against Cardiff, did you?
For Middlesbrough? No.
No. Aidan Flint.
No. Do you know what? That wasn't even my question as well. I had a different question, and that was a question what Al just sent me. That was Cav. That's a good question, isn't it?
Of course. Yeah.
So I'll give you the question what I had.
Go on then.
So I had Robert Earnshaw scored the most goals for Cardiff in one season, but where was the former Bluebird born?
Zambia.
Yes, he was.
I know that because my missus is obsessed with him.
Oh, there you go. I'll stick with the question.
Okay. Final question for you.
Guess dead. That's another chat as well.
Yeah. Which manager has been relegated from the Premier League with 3 different sides? And I'll tell you what, if you get the answer, but you also give me the 3 sides, I will give you 2 points, which will level the score.
Manager who's been relegated 3 times.
3 times with 3 different sides. So if you get the manager and the sides, you get 2 points instead of 1, which will level the scores. I'm going to regret that because you're going to make me sing "You'll Never Walk Alone."
No, because if I'd sing.
The key thing is 3 different sides that have been relegated with.
I'd sing it with you. If I did, because I've lost fair and square. I'm thinking.
So Kelly says Warnock with Cardiff, QPR, Sheffield United, but that's not the answer which I've got. But really, I should accept it.
I'm thinking. I was going to say Harry Redknapp, but I'm going to go.
Oh, so close! Right, think Harry Redknapp, and then I think they might even be related. I'm not sure if they're like related by marriage or something. Oh, like I don't know what else. A clue. The same type of personality.
Harry Redknapp only got relegated.
He's not a manager anymore.
He only got relegated twice, Harry.
He's not. No. But the manager that it is,
Steve Bruce,
he's not a manager anymore. I don't believe. Got a very similar personality to Harry Redknapp.
Who did he manage? Give me somebody who managed who didn't get relegated from. He must have done well somewhere.
Okay.
It wasn't
one of the teams he's renowned for is one of the teams he's relegated. He was actually Harry Redknapp's assistant manager at one point. He was Sam Allardyce. He was Harry Redknapp's assistant at one point. Just give me a second. I'll list some clubs he's been manager of. He's been manager of Wimbledon.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you the clubs that he got relegated with, obviously.
Yeah.
Wimbledon, Watford, Crystal Palace, Barnsley, Southampton, plus the other 3. He played as a player for Wickham, St Albans, and Wimbledon.
Wimbledon.
The team he finished his career with, he actually managed twice, and they were his most successful. That's like what he's most renowned for. Oh, well, them and Wimbledon.
Oh, shot of the dark. We're going. Are we Dave Bassett?
Well in, son. Well in.
Couldn't tell you the teams though.
So Sheffield United.
Sheffield United, yeah, I knew that one.
Forest.
They got relegated. Forest, did he? Oh, Forest got relegated, yeah, on the last day, yeah. Who else?
And Leicester City.
Oh, I didn't even realise Leicester got relegated.
Right.
Go on then. What's
Sophie says Elsie's awake and she's ready to sing.
Tell her come in then. Come on then. Bring her in.
Come on in.
I'll wake her up.
Yeah. So
need to find me song here.
I'm gonna choose. You can sing. Fast Car.
Fast Car.
Because I like the song.
Right, okay.
So just before you start singing, I'll line that up on your phone. And then I'll tell you when to press it. So guys, in a minute, Andy's going to sing us out with Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. All right. Whoa. So whoa. We're not ready yet. You got to have a big introduction. Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be Tracy Chapman. So guys, thank you all for watching and listening and all that sort of stuff. Please, we're like, I think, 4 subs away from 700 on YouTube. We're trying to get to the elusive 1,000. So if you could take a time to subscribe on youtube.com/H Podcast Nation, I'd really appreciate that. Best way to support the show. And also, we're trying to get to the 1,000. So if you can spare the time, it's free. Just sign in and subscribe. Thank you all, as usual. Any subject you want us to talk about next week, send them in. Friday, live edition, adults only. The Boot and the Limp. Danny Batten MMA show out on Wednesday. Oh, the baby's getting Larry. Ready? And remember now, guys, Andy, I'm gonna play it for about 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna play the out clip, but we will release the full clip afterwards.
Got to dedicate my song to Clem.
To Clem.
Absolutely. The boss said it. The boss said it.
The boss man.
The boss man.
And also, just before Andy sings us out, another shout out to Tom Lockwood. Check out his Facebook page, Trainers Reborn, which is a trainer restoration service, and check him out on Facebook, Tom Lockwood. And thanks to everyone for watching. Andy, it's an absolute pleasure, my friend.
As always, mate. Loved it.
We'll record a full version of you singing it to put it out now in a minute. But singing us out, episode number 36 of the Andy Campbell Championship Show is Andy Campbell.
Fast car, I'm gonna dance together. We will do. Baby, together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Started from zero, got nothing to prove. Baby, we'll make something. Be myself, I got nothing to lose.
I'm just gonna leave it playing.
Be a fast car. I'm gonna plan to get us out here. Been working havoc in Kingston.
It's Andy Campbell. It's in. Campbell comes off the bench to be a hero, a superhero. Breakthrough. It's taken a while, but it's been worth the wait for Cardiff City.
Totally understand he could give it, but he's gotta take care of him. Think that's what I did.
Can't end it. My screen's
Fast
frozen.
car. That's something. He don't make a decision. People love to die this way. So remember we were driving in your car. Speed so fast, I felt like I was drunk. See around before, see around from that around my corner, and I have a feeling that I belong. I and a feeling I can be someone, be someone, be someone. Fast car, fun to make yourself, do the job. Working love in the checkout boy, then things get better. Now get promoted, now to the shelter, live in the suburb.